Hello, it's Keith from Kinvert, and I want to go over an example of solving linear equations, but this time it's going to have some fractions in there. Make sure that you guys still remember your fractions. Alright, so what we're going to be solving is the equation of half x, so we've got half x plus 7, and this equals 13. Alright, so how are we going to solve this? Swapping sides, we don't need to do that. Like terms were already good, so now we're already on to constants. What do we want to do? We want to take away 7 from both sides so that we have isolated the constants away from x. And now what we get is half x equals, and then we have 13 minus 7, that's going to be 6. So half x equals 6. Now I want you to kind of stop, hit the K button to pause the video and try to think, what's the solution to x here? And here comes the answer in 3, 2, 1. So what we want to do is isolate away this constant. And in this case, it's 2. It's half, rather. And so to do this, what we need to do is either divide by half, and that's the same as multiplying both sides by 2. All right? So we want to multiply both sides by 2, and 2 halves, right? So we have 2 halves, basically. That is the same as 1. And so we end up with x on the left side equals 6 times 2. That's 12. Okay, so the solution to this is x equals 12. Let's do one more example that's somewhat more complicated where we're going to be dealing with fractions. Okay, so our next example is again going to be half x. And then what we're going to be doing is subtracting 8/3 from that and setting that equal to 1/3. All right, this one looks a little complicated. Let's see how we can break this down. So first we want to isolate away the constants. And in this case, we're going to be adding 8/3 to both sides. So if we're adding 8/3 to both sides, what's that going to look like? All right, what we're going to have is half x equals, and because we're canceling this 8/3, and now we have 8/3 plus 1/3, that's 9/3. 9/3, which is the same as 3, really. Right? 9 divided by 3 is 3, so now we have half x equals 3. And what we want to do now is isolate away the coefficients. So we need to multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of this half. And what do we end up with here? We've got 2 times half, that's just 1 times x. So we have x equals 3 times 2, x equals 6. And that is the solution to this one with somewhat more complicated fractions going on. So we went over solving linear equations that have fractions. This is Keith from Kinvert. Hope you found this helpful, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.